Hello, I am doing my Unit 2 peer collab, and so I'm just going to jump in. The first topic is consciousness and sleep. It says, share a memorable dream. What do you think it meant? How did it make you feel, and did it change anything for you? I can't think of any other dream right now except for like the falling dreams that you have. You, like, wake up because it feels like you fell off of like a building. I don't know why that's the only dream that I can think of right now. Did it change anything for you? Yeah, I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. Every time that I have those, I cannot fall back asleep. I guess just from the rush of adrenaline. That was the only dream I could think of. I'm so excited to listen to everyone else's answers for that. I'm so excited. I have so many good dreams, I just couldn't think of it right now, so I'm really excited for that. The next is sleep disorders. Share your relationship with sleep and how it affects your life. What changes would you like to make for better sleep? This, I feel like, does not apply to me because I sleep really well. I go to bed at like 10 and I wake up at like 8. Like I feel like I have a really good sleep schedule and I don't have trouble like falling asleep or anything like that. So, which I know is uncommon. I know a lot of people stay up till like 4 a.m. and then wake up at 6 a.m. I'm not like that. So I don't think I would make any changes to my sleep. Maybe sleep longer, but that's it. The next is altering consciousness, drug use. Do you know someone who uses or has used substances? How did it affect their life and relationship? Has this influenced your view on drugs? I do not know anybody who is on any substances, but I have heard of it a lot just in my community. Has this influenced your views on drugs? Yeah, I think there's a lot of stories that go around that are very sad to hear. So that definitely is deterring. But that's all I have for that one. Meditation. Do you meditate? What type? Share your experiences and any changes you've noticed. What challenges have you faced and how did you handle them? What type? I do not know. I know that I meditate off of like random YouTube videos and that helps me focus. I feel very calm after and I feel like I can focus a lot better on just random things for school or just around the house. The last for the section is hypnosis. I think I'm saying that right. What is your current knowledge and beliefs about hypnosis? I don't want to go too deep into this and waste all of my time. But I don't know if I really agree with hypnosis, or I feel like I'm saying that wrong. If I am, I'm really sorry. But I don't know, I don't like the authority, and not the authority, I don't like the thought of it just like, I don't know, it seems like someone who's like performing on you has like, not the authority over you, but kind of, I don't know, it's a very long trail that I could go on that I'm not gonna go on, but I don't really like it. I'll just leave it with that. But I'd love to hear any stories. I see a lot of videos about it and I personally would never do it, but it does look like a very interesting topic. The next is sensation and perception. Sensation and sensory systems for vision. Describe a time when something you saw affected your emotions or behavior. What did you see and how did it make you feel? When I read this, I automatically think of seeing the way that people die in movies. Like, I know that got super dark, but it's really weird because, sure, some movies are, all movies are fake. Well, they're not fake, but I'm going down a rabbit trail. Basically, when I see people die in movies, it's very, like, traumatic, because, they try to make it as big as they can because you have, like, an attachment with the person who died. But it makes me feel like especially even if it's not the main character, when people in movies die, like in the movie, not in real life, it makes me feel like I was like attached to them somehow. Just like I'd watched them the whole movie and then this big traumatic scene happens and then now they're gone. Definitely makes me feel very attached to a movie character. The next is hearing. Share a time when a sound impacted your emotions or behavior. What was the sound and what did it remind you of? I wrote down babies crying. I get so stressed out when babies cry, and it reminds me of like when I used to like nanny and stuff like that. So it's very sad. Also like when like we're hunting and like a gunshot goes off, I don't know, I get adrenaline every single time, even though I feel like I'm used to it by now, but it brings adrenaline to me. The next is taste and smell. What's a meal or smell you'll never forget? What did it remind you of and how did it make you feel? Old perfume. When I smell old perfume or like old candles, I get like memories of like when I used to wear them in like middle school and stuff like that. So I don't know why that came to my mind, but that would be for smell. I don't think I really have anything for taste, but I know that like tasting different foods like could, I guess, bring back. So I'm really excited to see if y'all have like grew up somewhere not in America, and then like when you eat food from wherever you were, if it like, I'm sure it's disappointing because it's not as good, but I'm excited to see if there's anything kind of like that. Touch and pain. Describe a time when touch or pain gave you important information. What was happening? How did it make you feel? Burning my hand. I feel like I do this a lot, or like my forearm. I sew, and so like I iron. It's a long story, and I'll reach over the iron and the steam will come up and burn me, and so that is a reminder that I can't do that. The last subtopic is describe the process of transduction. Be sure to elaborate on perceptual organization, for example, your personal experiences with optical illusions, depth perception, and the way you make sense of distant depth movement. This I had to research because I couldn't like get it out of my head. So ignore the ones that are highlighted. Ignore the green highlighted. This is the reference that I used for that. Ignore the green. This is the textbook that we all use, and then this is the reference that I used to look up for the idea of transduction. Charlie, move. So when light hits the retina at the back of your eye, it triggers the chemical reactions. The cells transform the energy from the light into electrical impulses that travel along the optic nerve to our brains, and that's transduction in action. That is from the link that I just showed. And it says be sure to elaborate on perceptual organization. I actually shadowed pediatric occupational therapy a little bit ago through just a local clinic where I live, and every like once in a while we would just like use these tests. I don't remember what the titles of those were called, but one of the little sections that I don't know why this stuck with me was closure, and so it would be like dotted triangles or like dotted circles and hearts and kind of things like that. Then it would be like broken shapes and like broken gems and stuff like that. And I don't know why, I just remember watching kids like fill it out, and so that the closure came to my mind. And then for personal experiences with optical illusions, sorry y'all, my cat is walking all over here. The black and blue and gold and I want to say white, I think it is, dress that used to go around of like, do you see black and blue or do you see white and gold? That's the first thing that came to my mind, because I see black and blue, but that was the only like optical illusion, I guess. Or like those photos of like a bunny or like a bird, if like, you know, you see a bird if you're young or you see a bunny if you're older. So that would be my personal experiences with optical illusions. That's the only thing that comes to my head. Oh, and that was actually the last question. So that was my Unit 2 peer collab. I'm sorry if I did not explain things very well. But yeah, something that I want to ask y'all is, for the sleeping and dreaming, I really want to know what y'all's most memorable dream is, because I've heard a lot of crazy dream stories and I can never remember my dreams. So I'm really excited for that, and I want to hear your most memorable dream. Bye.